Hey guys, Ryan here, and welcome back to another CR Sunday Talk. I'm excited because today we are going to get to hear from a great friend of mine. His name is Caleb Loudermilk. He has been in a couple of our podcast episodes on the Crossroads YouTube channel here, and he is also the youth pastor over at New Hope Fellowship in Westminster. And I'm excited for you guys to hear from him today. I hope that God does something amazing in each one of your hearts. So as we dive into our new series called This or That, here is Caleb Loudermilk.
Hey guys, I'm Caleb. I'm the youth director at New Hope Fellowship. So if you want to come to a cool youth events, you can come to New Hope. But whatever. Just kidding. I want to start off by asking a question I probably don't need to ask, but who in here has social media? Right here. Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I thought. Who of you that have social media, and if you don't have social media, I approve. How many of you follow somebody that you've never met in real life? Okay. Does anybody want to tell me why you follow somebody that you've never met in real life? Because you like what they post. Yeah. They have similar interests as you. All right, so this is just funny. I actually deleted my Facebook and my Instagram, and just my life has been so much better since then, but that's a personal decision. But I realized while I was looking through my followers, you said there are a couple reasons. Yeah, like famous people, you follow a band, obviously you've never met them in real life. Maybe a YouTuber that you like, you never met them in real life. But then I realized how many people I followed that were like mutual friends that I had never met in real life. I had never had a conversation with them. I really had no reason to follow them, right? And I was following so many of these people. And so I was finally just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna be done with it. But I don't know about you guys, but I actually like get mad sometimes when I'm on Instagram or whatever, when I see somebody, like I love the mountains. So if I see somebody that's like camping in the mountains, I'll be like mad because they're there and I'm sitting on my couch eating potato chips. Or like if I see somebody doing an activity I love or hanging out with one of my friends, like, and they didn't invite me, I just get mad, right? I'm sure you've been there. But today, what we kind of want to touch on, we're going to go over a lot of issues that we face, but one of them is comparing ourselves to others. It's hard to not compare yourself with people, right? Just your friends and stuff. But when you have all these people that you've never met and you don't know like their life, and then you're comparing yourself to them. I'm sure you've heard before that like social media is your highlight reel. And so when people look at it, they see the good parts of your life and they might not necessarily see the bad parts, right? So if you're following one of your friends on Instagram, you're friends with them. You've hung out with them. You've seen them at their worst when they're mad. You've seen them like right when they wake up, no makeup, whatever. So you know the bad parts and you know they're just like you. They're just a normal person. But when you follow someone you've never met, like whether you know it or not, like your picture that you build in your mind of their life is so great because all you see is their highlights. So I know you've heard that before. I'm sure you have. But it's just something to keep in mind as you're like on Instagram, maybe tempted to compare your life to somebody else, compare the way you look to somebody else. But I love to get down to like the core of a problem, right? Because a lot of you might like struggle with things, whether it's maybe you struggle with language. I struggle with language sometimes. Maybe you struggle with like just saying things like jokes that really probably should not be said, but you just say them to fit in. All right, maybe some of you struggle with like drugs, maybe like tobacco, something like that, alcohol, things like this. All these problems, like there's usually something underneath, right? Like usually your problem isn't that you love drinking so you get drunk every night, right? Usually the problem is like, okay, this happened in your life that makes you need to numb the pain somehow, so you drink, right? So I love getting to the core of problems. And I think the core of this issue of like social media determining how we live our lives in this comparison is a fear of rejection, right? And so today in our world, our wonderful world in 2020, rejection is just everywhere, right? If you wear a mask, there's a group of people that are going to reject you. If you don't wear a mask, there's a group of people that are going to reject you. If you vote for Trump, there's a group of people that will reject you. If you vote for Biden, there's a group of people that reject you. If you don't like politics at all, there's a group of people that will reject you, right? It's almost like around every turn. And when it comes to a group of people that you care about their opinion, maybe that you compare yourself to, it becomes a lot more important to not be rejected. This rejection that we face all the time in our culture, some people call it cancel culture. I'm sure you've heard that term. I'm sure you have like a favorite movie star, actor, TV show that's been canceled. Jenna Marbles was canceled. You know, it's bad. And this is all rejection in one way or another, and we're scared of rejection. You're on Instagram, you're following people that you don't even know, that you've never met, but they look really cool and they're really pretty and they go to like Prague and stuff. I don't know. And you say, man, I gotta look like them because they have like 1,000 followers. Is 1,000 followers a lot? They have like 4,000?
1 million.
They have like 1 million followers, and I need 1 million followers. And so you post your highlight reel, right? Because you post what you know is going to get likes. You post, like, do the filter and everything. By the way, the bald filter on Snapchat was like probably the greatest part of 2020. Okay, right? So you put your filters on your picture, and you take like 50 pictures before you get one that you actually want to post, and you post it, okay? And then somebody else comes along, someone that's never met you, and they follow you, and they're like, man, this person's life looks so cool, and so then they do the same thing. And it becomes this circle of just like put on a mask to make it look like everything's okay and great, and then somebody else has to do the same thing. I want to give you just a little example, and it's not a real story. Like it didn't actually happen, but it's a way of illustrating a point. So if you're with PETA and you really care about animals, this didn't actually happen, so don't worry. But so there's this eccentric billionaire, and he decides he wants to conduct an experiment. So he gets 4 monkeys, and he puts the monkeys in a cage with a really tall pole with bananas at the top, okay? So the monkeys go in, and of course, monkeys love bananas. So one monkey climbs up, and he gets about halfway up the pole, and he gets sprayed with cold water, and he falls down. And so another monkey climbs up and tries to get the bananas, right? And he gets sprayed with cold water, and he falls down. And so all the monkeys try it about 4 or 5 times, and every time they get sprayed with cold water. So they finally give up. They decided they're not getting the bananas. It's not happening. So what the billionaire does is he goes in, and he pulls out one monkey, and he puts in a new monkey that had never been in there, right? And the monkey starts climbing up the pole, and he doesn't get sprayed with water, but the other 3 monkeys pull him down because they know he's going to get hurt if he goes up there. And so he tries again, and they pull him down again. And so he finally gives up. He says, we can't have the bananas. And so he replaces another monkey with a new monkey. So now there's two that have been sprayed and 2 that haven't, and the same thing happens. The monkey gets pulled down, and he keeps doing this until all 4 monkeys have never been sprayed with water. They just know that you can't have those bananas. They just know that every time they try, they're pulled down. And so you end up with 4 monkeys who have never faced the punishment, but still won't get the bananas. And this is like, kind of reminds me of the loop that we're in, where like, this is what's beautiful. This is what's cool. This is what makes you a good person. And we like don't even know how we got there, right? We don't even know, like, who even said that this is what beauty is? Who even said that, like, this is the music that's cool? We don't know, because it's just been this circle for years. And so I want you guys to think about, like, how can I break this circle? This cycle. How can you be the monkey that's like, I don't know why we aren't going up to get these bananas, right? And climb up that pole and get those bananas. And here's the thing, like, it's frustrating to me because no one, like there's no guide to what is cool. Like, there's no guide to what is popular. It's just like always changing, and like it's hard to keep up with, and like Crocs were cool and now they're not. All right, Crocs are still cool. Everything kind of like comes back.
Fidget spinners were cool at one point.
Fidget spinners were cool. Nobody talks about fidget spinners anymore, right? And so my personality, that's frustrating to me because I'm like, what? I just bought these fidget spinners and now nobody thinks they're cool. Whatever. But what I find a lot of comfort in is that the Bible is like never changing, and God is never changing. Our verse for today, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, it says, "Not that we dare classify or compare ourselves with some of those who are commending themselves, but when they measure themselves by one another and compare themselves with one another, they are without understanding." So basically he's saying, don't compare yourself, because the people who compare themselves are without understanding. They don't get it. And so for us, it can be so stressful, it can be so scary to try and keep up with your friends or your whoever you follow, whatever, and just always have this fear of rejection. But with God, here's the only rejection that you need to fear, is rejection by God. And if you're saved, if you accepted Jesus Christ, you've been accepted by God. And everybody else can reject you, and you know you'll be accepted by God. And here's the awesome thing, is that to be accepted by the world, you have to do this. You have to dress like this. You have to talk like this. Listen to this music. Make sure you use the right filter on Instagram, whatever. With God, you have to accept Christ's free gift, and you're accepted. Now, that doesn't mean you can just pray and ask for the Lord to save you and then you can live however you want. No, a true salvation, you will go out and act right and do what God wants because you love Him. But I love friends who are easy to be around, right? And one thing that makes people easy to be around is that they just like accept you for you, and there's no pressure to be someone else. And that's how it is with God, is like God made you the way that you are, and so there's no pressure to be like perfect. There's no pressure to have your life together when you come to Him. Like if you are just way off the deep end, like you haven't talked to God in years, He still wants you in all your mess to come to Him. One of the greatest sayings that has stuck with me my whole life is that no matter how far you run from God, it's always one step back to Him. And that's awesome, because you're going to lose friends when you start following Christ. You're going to lose friends. You're going to have relationships that you just can't keep anymore because they're not compatible with the lifestyle that God wants you to live. But in all that rejection, you will be accepted by your Creator. And that's awesome.